stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Peter Somerville, Town Council.
John, Supervisor.
Bill Ryan, Town Attorney.
Randy Bates, Town Councilman.
Victoria Craig, Town.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Any audience comments, please? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the minutes of the September 25th presentation to the budget. Actually, I read that and I make a motion to accept those minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's September 25th at 7 o'clock. The regular meeting, I make a motion to accept those minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion's carried. I do not have any budget modifications or transfers. I'll make a motion to pay all signed vouchers and bills.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Supervisor reports, there's a lot but a little. So, one of the most pressing things that I have is conversing with the Hike Preserve has been a little bit tumultuous. Some in regard to the well, some in regard to the dam. I just want to bring it up to the town board. What's going on, which is not much. Tomorrow I'm going with Ed Sukas to set the pins. We have a survey for the park. We're going to look at the pins that are set as far as how much property the town of Rensselaerville owns. And we'll see if that's an option to put the wells there. Naturally, well, anyway, that's that part. I'm going to continue discussing about the planning board, the discretion of subdividing a 200-acre parcel just to take off 5 acres. We'll continue that information, that discussion, which we talked about last month. I also met with the town attorney and the Tim Lippard, who's the code enforcement building inspector. We now have a plan with our blighted buildings and unsafe buildings project. And now that we're all on the same page, we're going to move forward with that because that's really a big deal for me personally. And that's all I have.
Make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. The accountant is not here. Bill Ryan, the town attorney.
Yeah, I wrote to the supervisor and the town board members on the easement with Hike Preserve. And that's a confidential communication, which I'm not going to discuss here. It's better left said for later. That's my report.
But we've been discussing it because it is important. I make a motion to accept the attorney's report.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Jason, the highway recycling.
Sure, good evening, everybody. As far as the recycling report, I'm still waiting on a few load tickets from last month to complete the report. I'll get that for you for the next meeting. highway report, we'll keep it short and simple. Albany County Soil and Water Grant projects are all completed. Reimbursement has been requested for a total of $25,818. I would expect to see that money sometime in the next 30 days. CHIPS work, all CHIPS projects are completed and paperwork has been submitted. We should receive payment of a total of $519,224.24. That will be received in December. We will roll over $49,087 with the CHIPS money until next year. So the rest of it has been spent. Let's see here. We'll be ditching Lewisdale, Bryan, and Cheese Hill here next week. That's all been UFPO'd. Next week, New Scotland will be out to help us do some patch paving on Pond Hill Road, approximately 160 ton. A couple different locations that have failed. We return the favor to New Scotland by providing some trucking. So that salt contract is out. Price for salt this year now is going to be $59.85. So it's actually down, $62.55. So it's up just a few dollars from last year. Pretty steady price, which is good considering 2 years ago we were at $91 a ton. They also repealed the New York State Salt Act. So hopefully we won't have supply issues this year. We'll have Morton Salt as our provider this year. We're beginning to get ready for winter, although it doesn't feel like it, but here next week, we're going to start just making sure that we got a couple trucks ready in case we have something fluke show up. Starting to put away some of the equipment for winter. And then we are going to begin tree trimming and brush cutting until we get deep snow. So that's our game plan. And continue ditching as long as we can. So, any questions? All right, that concludes my report.
Thanks, Jason.
I make a motion to accept the highway superintendent's report.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Town clerk.
Everybody has numbers for the month. Hunting licenses are steady, as they have been. Doe permit, October 1st was the last day to apply for the doe permit. Foot traffic has slowed down considerably since then. Continued to work with Mary Carney from Sustainable Growth on the possible grant for our record room and our records in general. And that's about it.
I make a motion to accept the clerk's report.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Code enforcement building inspector. Apparently from his report. Well, once again, this is his report, which is substantial. Almost $4,000 in permit fees. As far as code enforcement, that's a different conversation. Tim, I stepped in because you weren't here. Would you like to do?
Yeah, it's as brief as it sounds. We took in $165 for the department, the planning, zoning, building department combined. We got 2 subdivisions and 1 special use permit in front of the planning board. Repair shop, guys putting in an application to do a repair shop. Ron Case, is that right? Ron here?
He's not here, but that's correct.
Commercial,
One-man band.
but commercial to the public?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He just had his first blush at the planning board. Just received their application for the first time. We had a handful of inspections and complaints, and we met with, I think that's what you were saying. We met with the town supervisor, the liaison, the corporation counsel, and the clerk about some streamlining some of the paperwork and the process in the building department. And that's all I have.
So that conversation was to pursue code enforcement,
Yeah, we're
not so
working
much
on
building.
code enforcement violations and how we're tracking that. And that's it. That's all I've got.
Can you, I have a question. Last month, we brought up the 100-acre parcels or 200-acre parcels, and to cut off a 5-acre parcel. We had to survey the whole property. So
Yeah,
I'd
a lot
like
of
you to-
people are asking for relief and a waiver, well, a lot. Two of the subdivisions that are in front of the planning board right now are looking for relief / a waiver from the full survey because they're such large parcels, it's really expensive. $20,000 and $25,000 to have surveys done on large parcels.
Yeah.
And they're asking relief from the planning board for that. And the planning board is chewing on that. They're thinking about
How much time do they have to chew? How much time do they have to chew before they make a decision?
it.
And is the decision
Planning boards
actually up to the
can
plan?
take as much time as they want.
Well, you know, you have a code that you need to follow. So I think what they're doing is deliberating upon the language of the code and what the requests have been from your constituents or the applicants. How long it takes to render a decision, I don't know. It's up to the board.
But that's legitimately in our code.
Yes,
That's the question.
yes.
Okay.
It's also in the statute, as in the town law.
Yep.
I think relief from surveys, the small part that they're taking out,
Right.
that's the push. You get relief from having to do
200 acres.
200 acres versus the 5-acre lot they want to give to their kid. That's the discussion that's going on.
I would think that would be more amenable.
That's all they're looking for. It makes sense.
So how do we, I'll ask you, how do we continue that conversation?
When's the next planning board meeting?
First and third Thursday of every month.
So take it up at the next meeting.
We're working on it right now.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad to know that. The assessor,
I would need a motion. I make a
oh,
motion to accept the code report.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. The assessor is a written report. For the month of August, we received a total of 3 transfers, 2 for estate planning and 1 from Albany County with the multiple parcels in REI of foreclosure before the tax auction. So.
It should be in rem.
Excuse me?
It should be REM.
And what are those letters designated?
In rem foreclosure. Means you take the property back because of failure to pay taxes.
And this is through Albany County, so it's Albany County Land Bank?
No, Albany County auctions the parcels for sale. If a certain period of time goes by without the payment of real property taxes.
Okay. Should the town board know what those parcels are?
Yeah, the assessor knows. Absolutely.
Okay. So it's okay to tell the assessor to let us know.
Yeah,
Okay,
and they're published.
okay. For the month of September, there are 8 transfers, 1 residential, 1 vacant, and 6 estate planning. State has been mailing out inflation rebate checks up to $400. These amounts are based on a sliding income scale of the taxpayers' 2023 New York State tax return. We are preparing for the 2026 tax roll for January's town and county tax bills. Okay. That's the written assessment. I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Water sewer. Ed's
Good evening. Oh, yeah, let me, I prefer my last name be pronounced Sukas.
Sukas. No,
Sukas,
Sukas.
not Sukas.
Okay.
What? What?
Sukas. All right, I'll respect,
Just-
I'll do my best.
Okay. Just having fun, John. That's interesting. I just got a report from the field. I'll bring that up in a moment. We met, last week, committee meeting at the Rensselaer Library, as we typically do. There are no updates for the sewer district at this time that I have to report on. Just continue to ask you to communicate with the committee via email using the arvillewatersewer@gmail.com address. The Myosotis Lake level is still way below the dam. So water is not coming over the dam. We are, I'm sure there's some category for the drought condition we are in, not to mention the upstate New York, perhaps more of the state than we actually know of. And that continues to keep us concerned, because of course the water from the dam, from the lake, feeds the water district. Earlier this week, we got a report or an update from Lake Preserve that their ranger identified a potential hazardous algal bloom at the lake shore. And that sort of puts us into a requirement with the DOH, Department of Health, to monitor daily monitoring of not only the impoundment dam, but certainly that's our primary concern. But because the water comes from the lake, as I just explained, that algal bloom conditions on the lake itself also need to be monitored. So our volunteers have jumped in along with one of our backup water operators on vacation. So John Rice is by himself right now. He can't get out there every day to monitor. So we're all taking turns going out and reporting back to the Albany County Department of Health regarding visual inspection of potential hazardous algal blooms. Fortunately, they seem to have dissipated from the first report that was provided by the Hike Preserve. It rained, it got cold. Not to say that they can't come back, but so we're going to continue to keep an eye on that until the Department of Health tells us we can stop doing daily monitoring. Sort of a taxing situation. Budget season is, of course, here. You guys have already talked about that. We have submitted our tentative budget for the water, sewer, and hydrant district, although we have yet to decide when we're going to discuss that with the town board. All right, the Water District Improvement Project, the RFQ, all the responses were received by the deadline, October 1st. We got responses or secondary response. H2M out of Troy, New York, LaBelle, Suwozo Doti and Associates, and Ty and Bond, also out of the Troy area.
What was the last one?
Ty and Bond, Tighe and Bond. So of course, we're going to go and through these responses, do our due diligence, and then make a recommendation to the town board. And that will then take us to the next step of the upgrade project for contracting with an engineering firm that can take us through the design component of the project. And then we have, as I've said before, until September of 2026 for the supervisor to sign off on the financial agreement with the grantor, the EFC of the grant. So $2.5 million worth of bond and 0% financing. All right, the well siting work group, these are volunteers from the community who came out and are continuing to come out. We've met twice more since my last report to look at various sites for wells rather than staying at the lake, because we know that's problematic, just like now with the drought conditions that we have. And we meet again this coming Tuesday, and it's working out pretty well, and sort of hope to have a short list completed by the time we hire an engineer so that we can bring them into the conversation and let the engineering firm take it from there. The EPA Administrative Order, last month I reported or made a pretty lengthy report about the EPA requiring us to put a mixer. And we've decided, because we're talking about $20,000 to $25,000. Is not the mixer itself. The mixer is probably in the neighborhood of about $15,000. But considering the fact that the lake is so low, the water is already, the technical term is turbid, or there's a lot of turbidity in the water, which means sediment and all. The water is literally coming out of our faucet brown. Although it's being tested daily and it's safe to drink, it's still kind of concerning, right? So will a mixer in the tank just make it worse? Is it really a good idea to put a mixer in the tank at this time? And so I'm not anxious to place an order and finish this particular project until we get an opportunity to discuss that with the EPA. We did have a discussion last week with the Albany County Department of Health about that, and they agreed it's something worth asking the EPA about, and see if we perhaps shouldn't hold off on this until perhaps in the spring of 2026. Other than that, that's my report. Any questions?
Oh, thank you, Ed.
All right.
No, Ed, thank you.
Oh, I wanted to mention, John Rice happened to be down, I guess making his rounds. The water fountain at the park is leaking. It looks like there's a bent pipe, maybe a piece of equipment, mowers or something like that, could have bent the pipe, and he can't really shut it off. So I don't know
We
who's,
were there this week. I know we used water out of the faucet and didn't have any issue, but we can discuss it. I don't, to my knowledge, everything was fine when we left.
yeah, so he says he's managed to get it down to a slow drip. It's kind of cryptic. I'm not quite a miss, but maybe that's something we'll take a look. All right. Thank you.
Motion to accept the water report? A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, on the old business, we need to put, when we discussed advertising for a planning board ZBA clerk, we didn't put an end date on. I'd like to make that end date tomorrow. Does that have to be advertised, the end date? We advertised it, it's been for 2 or 3 weeks. We have it up on the board, we had it in the paper.
How many applicants do you have?
1.
Why don't we err on the side of caution and put it out for a week? 10/17.
10/17.
Can we do 16? So that the planning board can do interviews,
Sure,
so that they can get a clerk and I can sign off on that too?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion. An end date on planning board ZBA clerk to 10/16/25.
Second.
I'll prolong the agony and agree. So, all in favor? Aye. This is under new business. I want to start with the first one, accept the resignation of Sue Britton, Water Sewer Advisory Committee Clerk. I need a second. All in favor? Aye. Now, the next one, resolution for minimum user status for Union Hall and Kelly Zimmerman. Now, this is in regard to, the people in the hamlet are taxed based on faucets or bathrooms or whatever. Union Hall has dug their own well. So they want to be exempt from that user status. But there's the house, and this is just a question for me. The house next to that was the Balashak, no, Ballinger House. So I don't know if that was ever exempt from the water use. Because they have their own. So I didn't, honestly, have not enough time to that. But I think we should see if the Ballinger House has been exempt from that. And if so, why? And that would,
Can there be an exemption to a water district?
excuse me?
Can there be an exemption to a water
There
district?
are exemptions.
There are a few, it's not 0, but it's a minimum.
A reduction?
status,
And why is that?
Because they have a well.
So if you put your own well in, you don't have to.
You have to pay the minimum.
I think it's considered a connection fee,
I believe.
connection to the municipal.
You still have to pay something for being within the district.
Can I talk on this?
Sure.
This all goes with the work that Edwin and his committee's doing. Vicky sent me this, an email on this, and I need to review the water ordinance prior to making a decision on what needs to be done at the town board level. And as we go along with Edwin's work, you're going to have to amend your water ordinance to bring it to the 21st century. And this is all part and parcel of it. This happens in a lot of other towns. You know, people with wells, should they connect? Should they be obligated to connect? And if they don't connect, what are they gonna be charged? And if they ultimately want to decide to connect, what's gonna be the connection fee? The bottom line here, as part of it, is that, wells do run dry. And there's gotta be a cost ultimately for connection, but, are they in a hurry to get an answer like tomorrow?
I haven't heard one way or the other. They just notified us and were asking. I don't know what the timeline is.
I'll write to you on this. Okay.
So we need to put this off for tonight.
That's my recommendation.
Well, we need to see, the ones with the wells. Do you have the ability to get a list of that? Maybe you could do that for the next meeting for us.
Can you send that to me?
Okay, so this was short, but any other audience comments? If not, I changed the agenda a little bit. I need to make a motion to go into executive session for possible litigation.
Okay.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
All right.
All right, thank you.